Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to worship you this morning, God. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to praise you. God, we thank you for all these young people, God, and all you're doing and working through their lives, God. Father, we thank you for the talents and abilities and the gifts that you've given them, God. And Father, I thank you, Lord, for their faith and willingness to exercise those gifts in this activity, God. Father, I thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to praise you and to worship you, Father God, to be in your presence, God, to come before your throne, and Lord, to enter in is so great a love. Father, we thank you for that today, God. Father, we ask, Lord, that you would bless this next part of the service, God. Father, I pray that you would work and move through these students, these young people, God, as they come to share your words, they come to share their testimony, God. Whoever has you want to work and move in this part of the service, God, we pray for the liberty of the Holy Spirit, God. Lord, I pray that you would touch hearts. I pray that you would change lives. Father, we love you. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. And amen.
I'm going to share a part of my testimony. The song that Taylor sang this morning said, "I'm not alone." And I was going through some things in my life where I felt like I was alone. But now I look back and I say, thank you, God, for bringing me out of the things that I was in. And the whole time I never was alone. I'll just pray for me because I'm a big crybaby, so. In October 2009, my mom was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. On February 2010, I got saved. I surrendered my life to God. I was like, God, I was praying for my mom. In May the same year, my daddy had a heart attack. And as a teenager, you try to stay strong for everyone else around you. And I'm the type of person that I don't speak out loud. I hold everything in. And while my mom was having cancer and my dad had this heart attack, I was praying and I was constantly finding myself on my knees just asking God, just take this pain, this suffering away. In February 2011, her cancer relapsed. And when that happened, I just shut God completely out of my life. I constantly found myself praying, why God? Why me? Why am I failing? Mama done chemo from February 2011 until September 2012, and sometimes I got a little jealous. Because I saw how strong my parents' faith were, and I was just like, why can't I have that faith? In December of 2013, we lost our house. And that hit me the hardest. You know, that's the only house I knew. I grew up in that house. You know, we had made memories there. And then the same year in April, I found myself at an altar. I rededicated my life. Like, you know, I was like, God, you brought me out of this, and you brought me out of this. Like, I can't keep doubting you. I can't keep saying, why God? And then last summer, I was having some family problems with my sister. There were some days where I would not talk to her for months. You know, she was in a very unhealthy relationship, and as a high schooler, yes, I've done some things that I shouldn't have done. I was in an unhealthy relationship that I got out of, and I shouldn't have been in the first place. But you know, as a high schooler, we tend to be on fire for God, and we want to do the right things. But when we go to those walls of high school, we just conform right back to the world because it's the easiest thing to do. And I've learned that, you know, through it all, we can't fight these spiritual battles with flesh battles. And that's what I was trying to do. I was like, you know, I kept doubting God. And I was like, you know, why God? Why my family? Why us? And I wasn't going to do this, but I felt led to share. And after this, you know, God, it's okay to stand out. It's okay to not conform to the world. And to say all this, you know, we all live in doubt sometimes, and we all push God away sometimes, because sometimes we want to listen to our flesh, and we want to listen to what He has to say and not what God has to say. And I found myself lots of times that I didn't want to go to church. I wouldn't open my Bible. Like, I would pray, but when I would pray, I would ask, why God? And last week I was just praying about speaking, and I was like, that's what I want to talk about. And, you know, we all have doubts. We all find ourselves at very low points in our life. And I found in the Bible in John that Thomas was a doubter too. And I want to first start you off with this. A sincere doubter is a true believer in Christ who doesn't want to doubt but is plagued by honest questions. He is in submission with God and wants to please Him, but he can't just close his eyes and have faith. He needs evidence. And Thomas was that kind of doubter. And some of Thomas's doubts were his personal failures coupled with Thomas's personality, and it triggered his doubts. We fail God all the time. The disciples failed God. At some point in your life, we're all going to fail. And in John 11:16, it says, "Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, let us also go, that we may die with him." You know, it says that, you know, Thomas was with the disciples when Jesus was getting arrested, but as soon as they were arresting him, he fled with everybody else. He didn't want to stick with God, and he didn't stay. He doubted. And it wasn't his failure, but it coupled with his personality and led him to deeper thought. Thomas didn't want to commit himself to something like it. And to commit himself to God and then go back on his word affected him a lot more than it affected Peter. And Peter's failure was he denied God 3 times. And we all will fall and we're always trying to pick ourselves up, but like Ken learned in that song, it said, you're not alone. God is always with you, even if you don't understand what's going on, even if you don't feel the presence of God. He's never going to forsake you. He's never going to leave you. And my question to y'all are you the type of person that takes commitment seriously? Are you the type of person that wants to do more for God and not just come to church on Sunday and just walk out the doors and come back next Sunday? You want more of God, or are you satisfied where you're at? But God, and another one of Thomas's was his lack of understanding. And when I was going through those tough times in my life, I didn't quite understand why I was going through these things. I would open my Bible and try to find something that would just give me strength to keep me through the next week of school, but I still could not comprehend why God, why me. And in 14:5, Thomas said unto the Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye had known me, ye shall have known my Father also, and henceforth ye know him, and have seen him. Another question to me is, I know all of y'all have done this, and if you say you haven't, then we're lying in God's church. But as a Christian and as a sinner, we all do this, and we all find ourselves praying when we're going through trials and tribulations. If God exists, if there is a God of love, then why is these trials and these tribulations happening to us? We all do it. It's just a part of life. And then another one of Thomas's that made him doubt was his isolation from his fellowship. And Thomas was absent the first Sunday when Jesus appeared to them. He didn't want to be around the others, like me. I did not want to be around Christian people when I was going through this. I was satisfied where I was at. Some days, when I got home from school, I'd take a shower, eat supper, lock myself in my room. I didn't want to communicate with anybody. I didn't want to go to church. Some nights I didn't even pray. I was just like, you know what, God, you put me through this, then you're just going to sit on the back burner for a while. And to add to Thomas's misery, he saw how the others had seen the risen Lord, and they had told Thomas, like, it was great, and they were so encouraged, and they were so on fire, and Thomas was now more miserable than he was because he didn't go. And that's how I felt, because I was miserable at times when I had seen, my church friends, my church family, they were out having fun, but at the point of my life that I was in, I was very, very low in the valley. Like I didn't want to come out for a while. And whenever we isolate ourselves from fellowship, we make it more vulnerable for us to doubt. And even when we do fall back and doubt, we always have God, whether we know it or not. He's always there. He's never going to leave us. And we have to stand like Thomas did. Even though he did doubt and he was discouraged, he still bowed and acknowledged God. And his desire for each of us who have not seen him is that, like Thomas, we would not be unbelieving but believing. And in John 20:24-31, it says, but Thomas, one of the 12 called Timaeus, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of print of the nails and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. And after 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came to Jesus, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Peace be unto you. Then saith he to Thomas, Reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. And Thomas answered and said unto him, My Lord and my God. Jesus said unto Thomas, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Believed are they that have not seen, and yet believe. And many other signs truly did Jesus in the presence of his disciples, and which are not written in this book. But these are written that ye might believe that Jesus is the Christ and the Son of God, and that believing ye might have life through his name. And, Thomas wanted Jesus, his physical appearance, but God had a bigger plan. Sometimes we say God's not with us, God's not here, we cry out that God's with us, but sometimes it's not, God he doesn't want to limit himself to one physical body. He wants to be with everyone, and as we're in here today, the Holy Spirit is with me, and I know that God is with me, and that's the only way I'm getting through this, honestly. But sometimes people have to doubt before they start believing. And we say, a bunch of outsiders, they say that we have to see a miracle or see something huge to know that God is real. And Jesus says that if we are blessed, we can believe without seeing. And, a physical appearance does not make Jesus any more real to us than he is now. And I think this passage of scripture I fall back on the most because at the time of my life, I was at a very low point. I was discouraged. I didn't want to come to church. I didn't want to be a part of anything really. And once I broke down those walls, I broke down everything that was holding me back. I feel so much better now. I can have a relationship with God that, I'll always have. And no matter how far you fall or how far you get off track, God he will never forsake you. He will never leave you. And I just pray for anyone that is going through something today or that, needs God as their Savior would just come to the altar and just ask for forgiveness because I doubted God so many times, but he never forsaken me. He's still with me, and he is, he's called me to do something that I'm really excited about. And, God is not, going to limit himself. And I think that's something that we have to understand as Christian people. Some people start to doubt when they see other people getting more blessings or more of God than they are. And that's this passage of scripture I hold on to because I know that not only us, we don't doubt, but people in the Bible also doubted God. And I know that where I'm at in my life is I'm growing stronger every day in my faith, and I want to continue to praise and worship God, and I just want to grow stronger in my faith every day. But you can't grow stronger in your faith unless you're committed. You can't just come to church on Sunday. You can't just come to church on Sunday night. You have to be committed. You have to want more. You can't just have your Bible at the end of your bed. You can't have your Bible just laying around somewhere and not open it. You're not going to get anywhere if you just leave it just sitting there. This is the book that we have to follow, God. This is where we have to live our life. This is what, if you're in doubt or you're in, you're suffering or whatever's going on in your life, this is where you go. And it's definitely where I didn't go for a long time. I mean, I would pray and some of the prayers was bashing God, and I was so bitter with everyone in my life, and I didn't want anything to do with anybody. I didn't care that I was hurting people in my family. You know, I shut people out because I'm the type of person that if I'm upset or if I'm really, really low in the valley, I just hold it all together. I'm the type of girl that I just go on with my life with everything just bundled up inside. And one day I found myself where God was just like, He's calling me. I felt Him tugging on my heart to go to the altar, and that day completely just changed my life. I let all those chains go, all those burdens that had been on my life. And I remember at Super Bowl this year, Thursday night in our devotion, I'd asked God all that week, just God, what am I called to do? I need to know before I start this new chapter in my life, which is college, because I don't want to go to college and conform to the world like I did in high school. And I feel like I got that calling, and I continue to pray about it. And I want people to be able to see Christ through me. I want them to say, that girl is a Christian girl. That is someone that I look up to in Christ. And I just thank y'all for listening to what I had to say. And I want to pray, so everyone be quiet. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this opportunity for me to get up here and share, dear Lord. And I just pray that I have impacted somebody through what I had to say, dear Lord. Lord, I just pray if there's anyone out there, dear Lord, that if they are bounded by struggles, if they're bounded by any trials and temptations or tribulations, I just pray that you would just begin to tug on their heart and you would begin to break them down, dear Lord, like you broke me down. Dear Lord, I would just pray that they know that you will never forsake them, you will never leave them, God. I would just pray that they know how much you love them. Dear Lord, I pray for the rest of the youth that are going to come up here and speak, dear Lord. I pray for strength and boldness that they can get out the word that you need for them to get out. And dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I thank you that you've called us to be one, dear Lord. And I thank you that you are preparing a place where we can go with no more pain and no more suffering. And that's going to be our home, dear Lord, because this is just our temporary home. And Lord, I thank you for our pastor, that all he's done, you know, he has stood behind us, and everyone else in the church that has stood behind us and, you know, have had faith in us that they're going to continue to help us do what we're called to do, Lord. And Lord, I would ask as we go down this day, Lord, that you would continue to just strengthen us, and Lord, as we go to Camp Tiger, I just pray that you would just watch us and protect us, and we love you, God, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
whatsoever.
drove me to my grandparents' house, my daddy's house, and she had been drinking the day before, and she was not in the right state of mind whatsoever. And she looked back in the car, and I was waking up, and I remember looking at the green light on the clock, and like I said, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. She grabbed me by my half put up ponytail that was there the day before, and she pulled me out of the car, and she pushed me a little bit. And I didn't know what was going on. I was 5 years old. The lady that I looked up to then was, I mean, she clearly didn't care. I didn't understand that. And it was pitch black outside, and she got back into her car. And she got in her car, and she cranked back up the car, and she began to drive off. And before I could stop myself, I began to chase after her. And she never came back. I began to beat on my grandparents' door, and nobody opened. And I mean, I was 5, and I was pitch black outside. I was hungry, I was cold, and I was terrified to death. And that's when I began to pray. You know, Lord, what have I done? I mean, what am I supposed to do? That was the first time I had prayed, and I began to beat on the door, and my nanny, she opened the door, she fed me, and she put me back to bed. And with that's when I began to know who Jesus was. From that day, Mama never came around again anymore, hardly. Last time I spoke to her, I was 9 years old, and I'm about to turn 18 in a couple weeks. But I know that there is a God for sure, because I wouldn't have made it as far as I made it today. My grandparents were everything to me. I looked up to them. They didn't have much. They didn't have much at all, but they did what they could for me. But what they had for me just wasn't enough. They didn't have a job. They couldn't work. They were old. So they did not have to put in foster care. I stayed in foster care until I was 13 years old. And luckily for me, though, I was able to get adopted, which was one of the most amazing things that happened to me. Well, at least I thought. My dad there, he was a blessing to get to know him. It was great, but through my years of being in foster care, both my grandparents passed away. That was hard. I felt like then I truly had nobody. Through my life, I've lived with at least 14 different families. And when I was adopted, I thought was amazing there. That was my place to call home. And I always thought when I would pray and ask God, thank you for everything that you had done. I know that I would have never made it without you. And I always saw myself as like this piece of puzzle, like inside this other piece of puzzle just inside this huge puzzle piece. And it was like they were taking me and trying to put me in the place of the puzzle and like pushing me down, but I would never fit. Like I just kept on popping back out. But when I got adopted, I felt like, finally that was my place in the puzzle. I finally fit. But, sadly, it did not work out. It did not work out at all. And one day, my mama, she just turned against me. I'm not sure what had happened. The one that adopted me, the one that I call mama, she just began to lash out at me about things that, today I'm still not sure about. But I lived there from the age of 13 till the age of 17. Back in November,
got so bad that, you know, I went to school, I told everybody what was going on, and I went back home, and I literally put on like so many clothes. I put on like 4 pair of pants. If you didn't know that was possible, it is. Putting on 4 pair of jeans, like 6 shirts, and I packed whatever I could in my backpack without my mother knowing, and I got on the school bus that day, and I never went back home. She had no idea what was going on, but I just could not take it. I got to school when, you know, people figured out what was going on, and I stayed at school that day until about 9:30 that night. It was hard. It was very hard. I began to live with my best friend then, and there, I just prayed. I prayed, you know, that the Lord would give me the strength to keep on going on, and also I prayed most of all that the Lord put me with a family that believes in Jesus like I do, and that, you know, that will encourage me to keep on going on, and that will give me a church family, because I've never had a church family ever, and I, you know, I would try to encourage my best friend to go to church with me. We went once or twice, but she would never get into it like I would. And whenever I read my Bible at night, she didn't want really to have anything to do with it. But there, when I was living with my friend, things didn't work out there at all either. And one day, a lady that works for the government, she came to pick me up. And I was 17, I didn't realize they could do this, but they picked me up, and she told me that I was in foster care again. This was my 3rd time being in foster care. I'm 17 years old. Like, seriously? And well, they picked me up and they moved me to Osceola that night. So family, you know, yeah, I believe this was about my 13th family ever living with, but I mean, when you go into a family, a house that you've never been before, you've never seen before, it's so scary. The smells, that was my biggest problem, was the smells of different places. Not that it stunk or anything, it didn't smell like you. It was a strange smell. It was a scary smell. And there was again, turned to the Lord, you know. But that's when I began to question the Lord, why? I've tried to be everything He wanted me to be. I've tried to, you know, tell people about you. I've tried to encourage, you know, my best friend to come to church. Like, why does this keep happening to me? If there's something, you know, I'm not understanding. But, and then again, I began to pray again, just Lord, give me a church family, somebody that can encourage me. That's what I wanted most of all. Well, I stayed with that family for about a week, and there's this lady that I know, and she helps me through a lot of things, and whenever I would go to court through all the things, she's the one that stood for me and talked for me. She's my voice, and she kept on telling me, you know, that we're gonna find you a place that can marry and things that help you out. And she's like, you know, I think I know a family that can help you out, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna get your hopes up again. You know, that then, you know, it sounded great, but I didn't know if it was gonna happen. And also when I went to bed that night, I didn't know where I was gonna wake up the next morning. I didn't know where the next bed I would lay in. And, I get the phone call the next morning. That lady had called me. She said, you're going to go to school today, and, but at 4 o'clock today we're having an emergency court. So, I got up there, and, you know, I wasn't sure what it was for. But my mother was there, and she was mad at me. She was so angry at me because I had told people what she had done. But, and then, you know, the judge gets up there and, you know, tells them that, you know, that you have, you know, let Holly down, and, you know, the families that she has been with was supposed to help her through things, but you know, it didn't work out. And then all of a sudden he was like, today we're here at court to, you know, take custody out of foster care and to give someone that can help her and, you know, put her with a stable home and a stable schedule. And right then he said, I'm at the end of court. He said, I grant custody to Margaret Page Slade. didn't know who Miss Page was. I never met her. I knew who Miss York was though, because when I was at school, and when I was going through the things that I was going through, the nights that I had to stay at school until 8:30 or 9:30 at night. I mean, he would stay there with me, and when I was in there and I was in the office and I was telling the principal about things that happened, he came in there and he prayed with us. And it was so amazing because when I went there again, this was my 14th family living with. Again, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. The smells again, it was different. But literally, family that I'm with now is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I have a church family now. I'm on a regular schedule. I don't have to worry about going to bed tonight and wondering where's the next place I'm going to sleep at. Which is, for a teenager or for a young child is the most scariest thing to have to worry about. I just want to give a big thank you to everyone, especially Miss Wayne today, and I just want to, whether it be a young kid in here or an adult that is going through hard things in life, just know that you can always, it'll always turn out for the good. Whether you want to question God and you want to ask Him why did this happen to happen? Why did this have to happen to you? But God does have a plan for you. Amazing things will happen. I know that God has amazing things for me, and I will become something great, and I know I will. And I had this whole thing planned out that I was going to read some verses and all this other thing, but what I got here, that just did not happen. So I guess it's just not what God had planned for me today. And but I do want to end with one verse that I went to a lot, and it says, "To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust. Oh my God, do not let me put to shame, or let my enemies triumph over me." Psalms 25:1-2. That verse really helped me through a lot of things. And whenever I was with the families, I didn't know anybody. I knew the Lord. I can say that, and I could get on my knees and I could pray. But thank you for listening to me crying and sound like a mess. But again, I want to give another thank you to this church family and being so amazing. I mean, even the ones that I haven't ever spoken to in here, and the ones that I have spoken to, you have been such an encouragement to me. Again, thank you. God has made victory over them all for us, but we all still struggle
overcoming them. God didn't save us for us to live for the approval of man. He also didn't sacrifice his son on the cross for us to be more concerned about what society's opinion of us is. And I have a lot of Bible verses because that helps me when I'm doing a devotion or whatever it is. You know, a lot of Bible verses, that's clarification to me on, this is the truth. And Titus 3:9 says, "But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain." Isaiah 49:16, "See, I have engraved you on the palm of my hands." And first I'm going to talk about the world. The world is a big deal for us, and especially as teenagers. 1 John 2:15-17, "Love not the world, neither anything that is in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not the Father, but of the world." The world is only here for a short time, along with all of these things, but Jesus is forever. And most worldly things are not sinful, but when you let those worldly things take control over all the things that we should be doing, like going to church and serving the Lord, and you let all the worldly things take over your number one priority, then it is sinful. We are all, I found this quote, and it says, "We are all like sheep, and we have all gone astray from the glory of God." The world can be viewed in many different ways. Sometimes it's referred to the people in the world, like John 3:16, and sometimes it's like 1 John 2:15, "Love not the world." And this is talking about all those attractive things of the world which draw us away from God. Satan does not want us on God's side at all, and he uses these attractive things of the world to draw us away. The world has so many sinful pleasures that none satisfy the heart. They just are things that we think are right and things that we think are fun to do, but when the going gets tough, they just fall apart, and it's not really anything that we need in our lives. I found these three ways to overcome the world, and that's one is be separate. You don't have to be afraid to walk. You shouldn't be afraid to walk by yourself, so to speak, because you're not by yourself. You always have Jesus, even if you feel like you're alone. You don't have to conform. If you're at school and you think something's wrong, that everybody else is doing it, you don't have to do it. You can just stay away from that and be separate, and you know that God is with you and He will work things out for the better. Number two is the world and God can't coexist. We cannot be for the world 1 minute and then for God the next. We can't come to church on Sunday night, Wednesday night, and praise the Lord, and then every other day of the week we go have a party or we do whatever we want to and do the things that we should not be doing, because that is not living for Jesus at all. And number three is He is worth it all. He is worth everything that we have to endure, all the hardships, all the standing alone, being separate from everybody else. It'll be worth it in the